Well, my thing with them is I saw them from when they debuted. They were on my shows. I was interviewing them and
From the beginning.
From the beginning. So
Yeah.
I've seen them kind of go through the entire thing. But when they started, they were these underdogs in the industry, and I know they were having like a very difficult time because Korea K-pop is so competitive. You have hundreds of groups debut every year.
Wow.
And it's, maybe 1% is going to stay around for a few years.
Yeah.
So I remember that they were doing things non-traditionally in the sense like they were shooting a show in LA and they were doing like tiny venues and they were really just kind of cutting their teeth, I guess, just trying to figure out what their sound and what their image and their look was going to be. And I think what really took them there is their fandom, the armies. They were really rooting for that underdog. They were that perfect underdog story. But it worked because they're amazing performers. I think the best way that I've heard it, and I think my brother said it, is like they look like America's Best Dance Crew, but they can sing and rap at the same time.
So they're all triple threats, every single one of them.
Yeah. And I remember it was at KCON LA in 2014. So KCON's like this big convention for K-pop, having like LA and New York. And they were like the opening act. And it was like the most stacked lineup that year.
Yeah.
It was like the big heavy hitters from industry. They were there and they were like opening act. And I was there, I was just like watching them and they stole the show.
Really?
Because their choreography and their charisma and the way they do things, people were like, is that magic? Like, what is going on? And from there, it was like this organic growth of people, like international fans saying like, these kids are so underappreciated, but they're so good.
Yeah.
And they just kept touring in a way that made sense and they just sold everything out. And now they're the biggest act in the world.
Wow. Because at that level, you can't deny talent.
Oh, yeah. No.
And if they had, that's all like Britney Spears kind of trajectory and like the controversy when she first came up that everyone was like, she can't like take her auto-tune away. Like what's going on there? But she can put on a great show.
Right.
And it seems like with them, if you strip down like the flashy performance, they're still great singers.
Yeah. I mean, they have the basics there. They have the essentials. And I think that's why it works.
Yeah. That's cool. I got to learn more about it. Or I don't. I don't know. It's such a big world to get into.
There's so many things to do in the world,
What would you recommend as someone that wants to start learning more about K-pop other than BTS? Like, how do I start my educational journey?
Well, I'd say Eric Nam is a great start.
Okay. How do you spell that?
ERIC.
No K?
No K.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
I'll Google it.
No, I think they're a great start. BTS is a great start. Blackpink, obviously.
Yes, I've heard of them.
They're huge. And if you go on like a YouTube dive, you'll just find
so many more.
Yeah. There's just so many. I think for people, the sound is now becoming increasingly more international and pop driven. And like my stuff, everything that I've been writing has been in the States with the best pop writers out there. So what I've found is a lot of people, they're like, oh, Eric's stuff just sounds like American pop and some of it's in Korean. And so
that's great.
And then they dive in and they're like, we ended up with people with purple hair and wearing heels, but that's cool. That's what it is.
Hey, you never know what you're going to find. The internet has something for everyone. Right. What's something you always make sure to keep in your fridge?